Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles and on this episode we're going to predict WrestleMania 38. And we're going to kind of go through this quickly. I'm going to review each night a little bit later. Probably night 1 and 2 separately, so that way I could review them close to when they happen. With that being said, let's jump into my predictions. I got the order off of Wikipedia, so this could be totally wrong, could be totally right, who knows. First up, we got Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's title. I see Bianca pulling this off. I think this is the payoff from Becky Lynch coming back at SummerSlam last year. The only thing that kind of throws me off is Becky Lynch getting her hair cut. And that may have just been Becky Lynch wanted to do a haircut, so they decided to put it in a storyline. I think this is a perfect thing to keep Bianca and keep her looking strong. I'm going to go with Bianca here. Next up, we have Rey and Dominic Mysterio versus The Miz and Logan Paul. I see this playing out with the Mysterios picking up the win. Logan Paul punching The Miz at the end of it, possibly leading to a SummerSlam or somewhere down the line with The Miz versus Logan Paul, with Logan Paul being the quasi-face in that. So to me, again, I'm going to pick the Mysterios here. Next up, we have Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin. I think we're going to see Drew pick up the win here. Again, here's a guy that did everything right during the pandemic and kind of with just the right guy in the wrong place at the wrong time. I think Drew McIntyre is going to pick up the win here. I don't see any reason why Corbin does. Next up for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, the Usos versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs. I think this match is going to show a lot to what the main event of night 2 is going to be. I think the Usos are going to pick up the win here. I don't think they take the belts off of the Usos just yet. I think they have a lot more story to go with them carrying the belts than if they would have took it off. Next up, we have Seth Rollins versus Vince McMahon's surprise opponent, rumored to be Cody Rhodes. Although there were reports today, as of the time I'm recording this, that Cody may have backed out of WrestleMania. Maybe that's a smokescreen. It's all smoke and mirrors, as Cody said himself. I think it's going to be Cody. If not, I think they're going to have a severe letdown, unless it's someone like Bray Wyatt coming back here, which doesn't make sense tying to Vince McMahon. Possibly Johnny Gargano, but again, I think there'd be a little bit of a letdown with Gargano even. So I do think it's going to be Cody. The other rumor that I'm hearing is a mega troll of putting Shane McMahon out there. I hate to even say it because I hate to put that thought out there, but maybe they do bring out Shane here and Cody appears the next night. Who knows? I think it's going to be Cody Rhodes, and I think Cody Rhodes picks up the win here. Next up for the SmackDown Women's Championship, Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey. I'm going with Ronda here. I think as long as Ronda's in the WWE, I think she's going to be booked much like Brock Lesnar, where unless she's fighting someone, where Charlotte is of that level, unless she's against a mega face or a mega heel, I don't think Ronda loses, and I don't think she loses here either. I think we're going to see a nice long reign with Ronda on the top. Maybe move Charlotte to Raw after WrestleMania to have her go up against Bianca. Just my opinion. And something that wasn't put on the match listing because it's not a match, the KO show with Steve Austin. I don't know if this leads to a match or a confrontation. At the very most, I think we're going to see what we've seen with The Rock and Eric Rowan a couple of years ago, where it was just a quick little 2-minute match, if it is a match. I think we're going to definitely see Austin stunning Kevin Owens after Kevin Owens goes for a stunner on him. Austin turning around and stunning Owens, and that'll be the go-home picture for night one with him doing a beer bash in the middle of the ring. That's my opinion. Now going to night two, we get the women's tag team championship, and this is another reason why I think it might be split up, because I think they're going to do one women's title on each night, and then the tag title could be on either night. But I digress. That's why I think this card may not be exactly how it's going to show, which I doubt it will be. We get Queen Zelina and Carmella defending against Sasha Banks and Naomi versus Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan versus Natalya and Shayna Baszler. I'm going with Rhea and Liv here. I think that their team is good. I kind of like the dynamic. I kind of think that they want to give it something like this to Rhea to kind of keep her away from the main event picture for a little while. Because if you have her as a singles wrestler, you have to put her in the main event. And I don't think they have plans for her in the main event right now, which is why I think she's going to win the tag titles here. Maybe keep those titles all the way till SummerSlam, maybe even Survivor Series, where at that point you either get a feud with her and Liv, or she moves up to challenge one of the women's champions. Just my opinion. Next up, we get our second celebrity match, Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn. This is a no-holds-barred match. I think Knoxville's going to pick up the win. I think the Jackass crew is going to come out and help them. Matter of fact, just the other night I watched Jackass Forever, which it was neat to see. I like the newer people on there. I thought it was cool. They brought in some new blood. I'm always going to love Jackass. I know it's stupid, but hey, I'm from the generation that grew up watching it, so it is what it is. Again, I'm going to say Knoxville picks up the win here with the help from some of the Jackass crew. Next up, we get Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. I'm going with Austin Theory here. I don't think with the way that Pat McAfee is being portrayed as just being an announcer, that you put him over on a guy like Austin Theory. Austin Theory gains the most from this win. He loses more by losing than Pat would gain from winning. So that's why I'm going with Austin Theory here. Also, I think there is one possibility. If they do a swerve on night one and Cody doesn't show up, and Theory loses here, maybe Cody Rhodes then becomes Vince McMahon's chosen one. I don't know. It's just, who knows? But I'm going with Austin Theory. Next up, for the Raw tag titles, we got the RK Bro versus Street Profits versus American Alpha. Alpha Academy. Sorry about that. I know I'd mess up something here. I'm going with RK Bro here. Again, I think it's one of the most over gimmicks that they have in the company right now. And with the interest in WWE waning and struggling for them to keep stuff that people will tune in for, I think RK Bro is one of the definite highlights of Monday Night Raw, week in and week out, and one of the reasons that a lot of people tune into the show. I don't see them breaking it up just yet. I see them keeping going on. I'm going with RK Bro with the win here. Next up, we have what I think is probably going to be one of the contenders for match of the weekend, Edge versus AJ Styles. I'm going with Edge on this one. This one could go either way. Either guy could win or lose, and it doesn't hurt their reputation at all. I just think the way that WWE does booking, I think that Edge goes over here. I think this is awesome to see this. To me, I think this is going to be one of AJ Styles' definitive WrestleMania matches. I don't think he's had one that's been as special. Even the Boneyard match, which was good. I don't think he really got that chance. I think he'll get the chance here, but I do think that Edge picks up the win. Next up, we have Bobby Lashley versus Omos. I'm going with Omos here. Basically, I think this guy has something. There's a star quality about him. And to give him a win against a guy like Bobby Lashley, who they could say maybe came off of injury a little too soon. Maybe Omos takes MVP from Lashley in the match. I think this is a way to highlight him. Again, I don't think Lashley loses much popularity if he loses here, where I think Omos gains a bunch if he does pick up the win. Last but not least, the main event of both nights, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns to unify the championship. I'm almost 100% certain they're going with Roman Reigns here. It's been obvious for years that Roman's been the guy. Brock is right up there with him. But this is another thing to cement Roman's legacy for basically being the face of this generation. I'm going with Roman Reigns here. I don't think there's any reason to stop the momentum. I think Roman Reigns is doing the best work of his career right now. The stuff him and Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar have been doing has all been fantastic. I think that's the way we're going to go with it. But anyway, that's my opinion. That's my predictions for the show. Let's see how many I get right. I might get them all right. I might get half of them right. I might get some wrong. I'll probably get a lot of them wrong. WWE is a very hard company to predict for because sometimes they go the opposite way of the obvious, and sometimes they make it too obvious. But with all that being said, make sure you smash the like button, comment, share, and if you're not following and you like what you see, please hit that follow button. And if you watch this long, I know you like this video, give me a WrestleMania 38 down in the comments to let me know you watched to the end. With all that being said, my name is George Coles, and this has been my predictions for WrestleMania 38.